G'day and welcome to another Madcap music review. I'm Mad Capsules, and today we're taking a look at the new black metal album titled Walk Beyond the Dark from Abigail Williams. So, who is Abigail Williams? If you don't know who they are, well, you're in pretty good company. Before deciding to do this review, I had absolutely no idea myself. In fact, I thought Abigail Williams was the name of the singer. And that she perhaps did atmospheric black metal. But nope, I'm wrong. Abigail Williams is the band name, and if you know anything about the Salem witch trials, or if you've read The Crucible by Arthur Miller, then you'll know that the namesake for the band was actually one of the original accusers during that time. Not a witch herself, but an accuser, which, in my opinion, is even more black metal. Still, it is a pretty strange name, and I expect it's not the first time they've encountered some confusion. But they have been around for a while. They started back in 2004, making not atmospheric, symphonic black metal. But they've evolved over the years to be more standard, slightly more traditional black metal sound, which is really where this album sits. Now, why did I choose Walk Beyond the Dark by Abigail Williams? To be honest, I'm a sucker for Marius Lewandowski's artwork. The Mirror Reaper album cover for Bell Witch a couple of years ago was one of my favourite album covers of all time, and his style is really, really recognisable. So when I looked at the cover, I knew who it was had done the artwork. And I think, to me, that says something about the band. Does it necessarily? Maybe not, I'm not sure. But looking into the band and discovering they were a black metal outfit, and more than that, that they were even referred to as a progressive black metal band, this piqued my interest even further. So here we are. So, onto the album. Not knowing what to expect, I was pleasantly surprised by the first track. The track is called I Will Depart. It's not quite traditional black metal, but it's not quite black gaze. I was immediately struck by the production values and the ferocity of the track. It's a fair summary of my opinion of the album as a whole, to be honest. It's very much a US black metal album, and in my opinion, it steers pretty close to the norm. So I'm pretty unsure as to why the band has been referred to as a progressive black metal band, but hey, that said, several tracks do employ some pretty experimental ideas with clean singing, some doomy elements, and even a really clean guitar solo that plays in the middle of the track, Ever So Bold. Check it out. So yes, there are some progressive elements. However, it really is a black metal album at heart, with pummeling drums from start to finish. And I've got to say, some of the drum work on this album is sublime. Tremolo picked guitar work and some wailing vocals. So it's, all that usual black metal stuff. What makes the album stand out, though, is the composition. Every track feels different to the others. Each employs a different technique to tell its little story. There's a cello throughout the album, and it really gives each track its own unique feel. And the band as a whole has a unique feel as a result of that. And yes, while there is some clean singing employed here and there, it's not really pervasive. There's only a couple of places on the whole album that it's used. And where it is used, it's used to evoke even more emotion when the wailing screams return. Have a listen to this. Initially, on my first listen, I felt like the album started pretty strong, then fell over towards the end, and picked up again for a strong finish on the last track. But on subsequent listens, the middle tracks really began to shine, so much so that it's hard for me to choose my favourites. With only 7 tracks over a 55-minute runtime, and each track of relatively high quality, it was a pretty tough choice, although I will say that some songs potentially ran a little long. While each component of the track certainly had its place, there tended to be some repetition that perhaps wasn't necessary. That said, I also felt that much of what was there for good reason. I think it would have been pretty hard to chew the fat. Where does this leave me with the songs that I did enjoy? While I enjoyed all of the tracks individually, there were definitely a few that stood out above the others. I Will Depart, the first track, gets a recommendation simply because it's a real ripper of a track. The raw emotion in the vocals comes out pretty damn clearly. The next track, Sun and Moon, is also a favourite of mine. In this track, the band tries some different approaches, and it all comes together really well, to be honest. On my first listen, Black Waves was my favourite track, and I think that will probably be the favourite track for many listeners. It goes through so many changes, and it's a really wonderful listen overall. However, the final track on the album, titled The Final Failure, is where it's at least in my opinion. Not only does this track try a whole bunch of different things as well, but listen to the way that it dissolves into something that feels a lot like doom. Love it. So, how many mad capsules will I give Walk Beyond the Dark? It's a good question, and to be honest, it took me a little while to get into it, but when I did, I really dug it. This is, in my opinion, a great black metal album, so I'm going to have to give it 4 mad capsules. And a great black metal album it is, but it won't appeal to all black metal fans, let me be clear. For one, it's far from a traditional black metal album. You won't find the cold Scandinavian wastelands buried in here. Plus, it's far too well produced to satisfy those that love raw black metal. And on the other end of the scale, it quite possibly won't please those looking for something even more different, something more akin to black gaze, for example. It really is black metal with modern polish, and that's about it. And while that won't appeal to everyone, it certainly appealed to me, and I definitely found it a really good listen. So that brings me to the end of my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried something different with some audio clips. We'll see how that goes. If you like this review, click like. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you think others would like it, please share. And if you want to join the conversation, leave a comment. Otherwise, keep your eye out for more Madcap reviews in the coming weeks. Bye.